Hey everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of BobBoom. I'm your host, Bob, and you're never going to get any ads on my channel as far as I'm concerned. If you do see them, it's YouTube's fault. Welcome back to another little rant and rave. Let's see, what's been going on with my life? About to graduate. I have a school report to do right after I finish recording this. Let's see. I got some video games and stuff, yada yada, of course. I mean, anyone can get a microphone and talk about video games. So let's do that since it's the easiest thing in the world to do, and I don't feel like working. I feel like procrastinating. Let's see. I got Yakuza 6 coming out soon. There's a new Gundam Breaker coming out. Amazingly, it's a Gundam game that's going to be on PC. It's called New Gundam Breaker. It's also going to be on PlayStation 4. I think that's coming out in May. There's also a really big update for Space Hulk Deathwing, which is a Warhammer 40k game that I followed for quite some time, but was somewhat disappointed when it launched because it was missing a lot of features that they said that they were going to have, and it was buggy, but they've been working on it, and there's a really big update coming out. Let's see, I've also been playing some Kingdom Come Deliverance, been messing around. It's amazing how easy it is to, I guess, steal things. In games like Skyrim, you press crouch, and eventually you kind of just get better at sneaking and all this other kind of stuff. It's not like that at all in Kingdom Come Deliverance. The character that you have, their gear makes noise. It determines how visible they are. Let's see. Also, I guess the lighting in the room in general determines how visible you are. A whole bunch of factors actually come into whether or not the AI recognizes if you're there. But once you kind of get into the groove of it and you realize that this is trying to be as realistic, I guess, in a sense as possible, hey, steal away. Steal to your heart's content because it's a video game and there's no consequences. Of course, though, if you're wearing all black, guards will actually think that you're suspicious and they will actually stop you on the road and do quote unquote random searches. I also been playing Far Cry 5. Well, I beat Far Cry 5 actually. I got one of the endings, the resist ending. There's another one that you can do. Actually, there's 3 endings to the game. One of them is actually one of the rare opportunities to completely ignore the entire game. Well, one of the first times I've ever seen something like that, it was a PlayStation 1 game. I think it was like a something Metal Saga, something like that. Essentially, the game gave me a choice. Do I want to go out and be an adventurer like my father was, or do I want to stay at home in the town and become a mechanic and help the family out? And when I played, I chose that as the first thing just to see what would happen. And there was a credit sequence, and it explained how my character grew old and had a family, and everything went by peacefully. Whereas it really wanted you to choose the other way, and of course you get a good laugh out of it. But yeah, there's something like that in Far Cry 5. You're given the choice of arresting the, I guess, main villain, or just walking away from arresting him because you're in a very dangerous situation at the beginning of the game. So I got a good laugh. I thought that was actually pretty clever. At the start, it made me feel like my choices really mattered. It made me feel like things that I was choosing to do might actually really have an impact. And eventually, as I'm playing Far Cry 5, that wasn't the case. Eventually, there are situations where you did actually have to choose what to do, but the outcome was usually the same. So, screw it, right? The main game itself, if you're thinking about buying Far Cry 5, I bought it just to see how it was. I really enjoyed Far Cry 3. I never really liked Far Cry 4, but I figured with it being a new gen, maybe with some new ideas packed into it, maybe it would be even better than Far Cry 3, but unfortunately Far Cry 3 is still better than that. Um, So many bugs, so many issues, so boring. I I don't know where to begin. The entire map is essentially the same thing. The whole map is just woodlands, and I understand it's the middle of Montana, but it's just boring. There's no variety anywhere on that map. In fact, any kind of variety that you do see is very, very early on because you're introduced to like a character that's like an alien sci-fi nut. You're introduced to a chef who wants to cook bull testicles for a testy festy coming up. You're introduced to quite a few characters, so at least the side quest kept things interesting. But as far as the map, as far as the main story, as far as trying to find a way to give a damn about any of these characters, it's boring. It didn't work. It was not as good as I would have hoped for a $60 experience. Now, if sometime along the way you find it for cheaper than $60, let's say even a Game of the Year edition, because they are going to have some DLC season pass crap coming out. If you are looking to buy Far Cry 5, just buy it at a cheaper price or a Game of the Year edition. Do not pay for it right now. Within the time that it took for me to beat the game, within the, let's say, week and a half, there wasn't a single patch, not to fix any issues. Ubisoft did not release a single patch, not to fix small issues, nothing like that. I'm talking issues that rendered the game unplayable on a system that ran it, 80, 90 FPS nonstop. I'm talking, I press escape, I alt tab, I do some stuff, maybe I need to look up something, and then I alt tab back in, and then my mouse isn't usable in the game anymore. Now, they made sure that their pay system worked. You see, in Far Cry 5, you can use your real money to pay for all of the unlocks in the game. Just in case you don't feel like doing a whole lot of shit, you can pay them real money for special stuff, everything pretty much, which is kind of ridiculous. I understand that there are some people out there that would probably do that, but there's such a small amount of content to begin with that throwing extra money at them, you might as well just play that. You just play. Just play the fucking game. I don't understand. There's not a whole lot of replayability with this game. I get that, but to actually throw money at the game after already paying $60, you're just, why did you even buy it? Why did you even buy this game if you're not even going to play it? Like, you earn all of that pretty much by playing it. But let's see. Oh my god, there's so many things that are wrong with it. Let's see the map. There is no, I guess, legend filter for the map. You can't just select one type of thing to view and have only its icon show up on the map. There is there's this other problem with the map where I can only view things if I am zoomed in all the way, like markers for stuff would show up only if I'm zoomed in. If I zoom out all the way, then it only shows main quest areas. The only way for me to see a very specific thing that I'm looking for is being zoomed in all the way. Now, eventually, when you come to the point in the game where you have destroyed 18 out of 19 drug silos, and you're looking for that one last silo, you have to zoom in all the way, and then you have to play Where's Waldo? Like, you have to just keep moving that magnifying glass around, just looking for him. Hey, good luck. That's not a clever map design. That's not a clever UI design. I don't know how you dropped the ball on that. I mean, tons of other games have at least a filter. Like, I should at least be able to turn off the 10,000 hunting and fishing spots. Holy shit. The AI is absolutely retarded. It's terrible. The AI is bad. I'm talking, look at me, I'm right in front of you. I'm gonna whack you with the shovel now, uh, within the 6, 7 feet away from you that I am. I'm talking AI that's so bad that it would rather crash into its own ally than try and keep a straight line on the road. I'm talking an AI so bad that it would blow itself up on trees, uh, I guess, just idling, not even noticing anyone. I saw this one time, and it was a helicopter. It wasn't shooting at anything. It wasn't chasing anything. It was an enemy helicopter. It was just kind of floating around, and then it started getting lower, and it started getting lower, and I guess he was just going to a kamikaze into a tree. I guess he just gave up on life. I'm not entirely sure on that one. Um, there's always shit going on in this game. Just always. Now, don't get me wrong. Far Cry games, they're supposed to be action games. They're supposed to have lots of shit going on, I guess. But in the middle of Montana, you would expect it to at least be a little bit calm until you make shit hit the fan. When shit hits the fan in Far Cry 5, it's always happening. It's always just this nonstop amalgamation of random bear attacks, trucks driving by, planes spawning out of nowhere, uh, enemies coming out of nowhere. I'm talking just getting to the point where it's more aggravating than anything else. I'm in the middle of the wilderness, minding my own business. I'm trying to find like these caches, right? And a cache is like a storage area. You know, some doomsday preppers stored a shit ton of food and ammunition and money and all this other kind of stuff in this spot. So I'm looking for one of these, and I noticed this random guy out in the fucking woods. Now he's got no gear on him. He's got no gun. He's got absolutely nothing. Other than the shirt and pants and shoes on him. That's it. And as I'm running by him, he just starts screaming, "Oh my god, a bear!" And a bear comes out of nowhere and murders him. I didn't even bother shooting the bear. I was just like, okay, dude, you have fun with that. Because I didn't want to deal with it. Just like there's always something fucking happening. Now, if it was just me on that trail and eventually a bear showed up, that's fine. I'm in the middle of the wilderness. But what is a dude without any crap on him doing in the middle of the wilderness? They, like, you see what I'm saying? They're just throwing out AI. They're just putting things there. That wasn't a scripted event. That wasn't anything that was planned. Just there's always AI somewheres. I could be yet again in the middle of fucking nowhere, away from tons of life and activity, and all of a sudden an enemy airplane or helicopter just flies out of nowhere, and they notice me through these massive 6-story tall trees. Like, I am right there in the middle of this forest, almost completely invisible to the eyes of a plane or helicopter, but somehow they notice you within 2 seconds. They know it's you from, let's say, 30 stories high. Let's just give them the benefit of the doubt. The trees are 6 stories and they're 30 stories high, and they notice me. So now all of a sudden I have to take care of the helicopter or the plane. It's just, when you just start spawning in random things just to make it seem like the game's active, it's more annoying than anything else, because this happens the entire game. You're never alone. You're never just taking care of something. There's always some shit happening. Speaking of which, if you know what draw distance is the distance at which objects like trees, trucks, people, etc. are allowed to spawn from your point of view. So it's, let's say hypothetically, 100 feet, right? At 101 feet, the object is going to disappear, but at 100 feet, it's going to pop up and it's going to allow you to see it. A lot of companies keep these things low by default so that your system can run it, because it is kind of a system extensive feature if you were to have that feature like completely maxed out to what the engine will allow. It eats away at your video card and everything else. So especially for consoles and stuff, you want to kind of keep it kind of low. There is no draw distance slider in Far Cry 5. I have a 1080, I have an i7, I have 16 gigs of RAM, I have SSDs, I have cooling systems. I mean, good God, you name it. But I can't mess with the draw distance at all in this game. And because of the wonky draw distance, it fights with the respawn distance. The respawn distance is, I guess, how far away it takes until something spawns in the world. Now, I just blew up a... What is it? A roadblock. That's the word. I just blew up a roadblock. And as I'm speeding past it, I blew up 2 trucks and maybe about 4 guys with a rocket launcher right when I was passing through it. And as I passed it up just a bit, it was just enough for the objects, the dead bodies, the scarring from the missile and stuff like that to disappear. When I went into reverse, everything respawned. The entire roadblock respawned. Both trucks, 4 dudes standing there like nothing ever happened. I saw it happen. I actually saw the things despawn, and then I saw the new things spawn in. Now, when I said that they just spawn things in to make things happen, this is an example of that. It's just something that needs to be done, I guess, to them. I didn't like any of that. Now, I'm looking forward to other games coming out this year, and I know this sounds negative and stuff like that, but there are some positives to this game. The voice acting is actually really good. I was actually kind of amazed. They did really put a lot of emotion, I guess, into it. The sound direction in general is pretty good. They might be hinting at Blood Dragon 2, and Blood Dragon is probably one of, if not my favorite, Far Cry game, which is strange enough to say. I thought it was amazing as hell to fight laser panthers and call in like this really big fucking dragon, a blood dragon, to fucking take out a whole base of dudes and stuff. Like, it was just a fantastic fucking ride the whole time. But even then, with the sound direction, with the hopefully possible hints at stuff, I felt like it was missing things. Now, the engine actually did run smoothly. The engine ran fantastically. And I have no idea how they got that to work, but I was kind of hoping that they would use a bit of Rainbow Six Siege's engine. The environments aren't destructible. I can shoot through a regular chain link fence, but not a chain link fence that has a green tarp over it. If you don't know what a tarp is, it's just a plastic durable sheet, for weather control and wind control and things like that. So it's a fence with a very thin sheet of plastic fabric over it, and bullets will not penetrate it. Bullets will not go through it. But as soon as I find a chain link fence that doesn't have that, bullets go through it just fine. Very strange, somewhat disappointing. I'm gonna at least give it a 7. I had my fun with it. There's other stuff to do. There's things like fishing. The side quests are great. Running around in a helicopter, blowing things up with missiles and stuff made it feel, I don't know, like there was some kind of action and fun to have, to be had. But there are so many negatives to it, and I'm just surprised that they didn't bother patching a single goddamn thing after launch, that I just feel kind of let down. Like, I feel like the experience in general was kind of empty. Anyway, like I said, you got a few games coming out. You got BattleTech coming out soon. which is going to be a turn-based strategy game that uses Mech Warrior units. If you aren't familiar with Mech Warrior or Mech Commander, I grew up with Mech Commander. Mech Commander is a great series, number one and number two. They're fantastic. You can kind of customize the robots, send them out on missions. There's a lot of if, ands, or buts. Your pilots can die and a whole bunch of other kind of things. So, you always have to kind of be on your toes with it. I'm not going to say it's like the XCOM of robot games, but like I guess if you had to get down to it, you're going to have different experts for different situations and things like that. And of course, you don't want anyone to die. Uh, you also have, like I said, the update for Space Hulk Deathwing. You got Yakuza 6 coming out. Oh man, I should actually just type up a list of this stuff. I don't know why I haven't, because there's just so much crap coming out. Also, there's, oh god, what was it? Fuck, now I gotta look at it. There's also Dual Gear coming out. Dual Gear is a strategy mech game again, except this time it's a lot like Front Mission. If you enjoyed the Front Mission games, you're going to love Dual Gear. That's supposedly coming out this year as well. At least that's what I've been told with their updates. So much crap. I'm talking all of this is soon. Like, I'm talking all of this is within the next 3 months. So, just remember, always approach something with skepticism. I kind of took the dive. I jumped off the cliff with Far Cry 5. I shouldn't have just bought it right out the gate, but I said, you know what? Sometimes you just got to gamble on it, and I crossed my fingers when I bought it. I had fun as far as playing with co-ops and, like I said, getting in helicopters and just blowing things up. But everything else just kind of felt like the game was downtrodden. It was missing any kind of heart or soul to it, I suppose. So remember, approach things with skepticism. Don't always don't always just throw money at something and expect it to work. And please don't buy in-game currency with money, especially for a game that you paid $60 for already. I need to stop procrastinating and get to my report. It's been roughly about 3 minutes now. I want you all to take it easy. In the famous words of Cave Johnson, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Make life take the lemons back. Get mad. I don't want your damn lemons. What am I supposed to do with these?